Aristotle, When Affection Becomes a Trap, 384 to 322 BCE. Aristotle is known as the first great champion of friendship, yet he also warned that it can quietly undo the virtue it claims to celebrate. In the Nicomachean Ethics, he divided friendship into three types, those based on pleasure, on usefulness, and on goodness. Only the last, he said, is noble. But he admitted that even the best friendship can destroy balance if it turns into dependence. A true friend, he wrote, is another self. Yet to merge too much is to lose the self entirely. Love becomes flattery, loyalty becomes bias, and judgment fails when emotion speaks louder than reason. A man who loves his friend more than virtue will eventually betray both. Aristotle didn't hate companionship. He simply saw how easily admiration slips into addiction. For him, friendship was not a safety net, but a tightrope. Cross with honor, and it elevates you. Lean too much, and it breaks beneath you.
Epicurus, When Closeness Threatens Peace, 341 to 270 BCE. Epicurus built a whole philosophy around tranquility, autoroxia, the quiet mind unshaken by fear or pain. He cherished friends as sources of pleasant companionship, yet he also feared how attachment breeds dependence. If you tie your happiness to someone else's mood or mortality, he warned, you've given fate a key to your peace. Private letters reveal his unease. Love and friendship can produce greater delight than any banquet, but also the deepest wounds when loss arrives. He urged disciples to choose friends wisely and love calmly so that gratitude would outlive grief. Epicurus's garden was a place of gentle debate and detached affection. For him, friendship did not kill the body, but it could slay the calm soul if one clung too hard. Better a few measured attachments than a crowd whose absence might undo you.
Seneca the Younger, Affection versus Virtue, 4 BCE to 65 CE. As a Stoic, Seneca believed virtue is freedom and emotion a form of enslavement. He valued friendship, but feared its power to make reason soft. A man who weeps for his friend's suffering, he warned, has allowed another's misfortune to rule his own mind. Let your love, he said, be for a mortal as one who may die tomorrow. He wrote to Lucilius that wise friendship rests on admiration, not need. When need enters, peace exits. The Stoic sage should help others without bleeding for them. Seneca's own life proved the danger. His closeness to Nero brought power and then a death sentence. For Seneca, affection is like fire, a sanctuary when contained, a funeral pyre when uncontrolled. In the Stoic balance of soul, too much love was the most elegant form of self-destruction.
Thomas Hobbes, The Contract of Convenience, 1588 to 1679. Hobbes saw humans as creatures of desire, locked in a constant struggle for power and safety. In his Leviathan, he described friendship not as virtue, but as temporary armistice, a contract between self-interests. We befriend because it benefits us, not because of some mystical affection. The moment that benefit disappears, so does the bond. Man is a wolf to man, he famously said, and for him, friendship became the momentary silence between howls. To trust too deeply is to hand the enemy your throat. True peace requires laws and distance, not love and intimacy. In Hobbes's bleak, mechanical world, friendship is just politics wearing a smile, an agreement that can turn predatory at any time.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Love as Loss of Freedom, 1712 to 1778. Rousseau spent his life longing for companionship, yet fleeing it. In his confessional writings, he wove a tragic pattern. Every friendship he cherished ended in betrayal and paranoia. That pain fed his philosophy that society, and by extension friendship, corrupts our natural freedom. To be loved is to be watched. To need approval is to be enslaved. He wrote that the desire to please others is the first step towards losing authentic selfhood. In his eyes, friendship teaches us to lie politely and smile at our own chains. For Rousseau, the true state of man was solitude in nature, not comfort in company. The more we cling to each other, he warned, the less of ourselves remains. Arthur Schopenhauer, The Poison of Proximity, 1788 to 1860. No philosopher trusted human affection less than Schopenhauer. He saw life as a cycle of selfish desire and suffering, and friendship as yet another arena for the will to wound itself. For him, people don't seek friends out of goodness, but out of boredom, loneliness, or need. And need is just a softened form of greed. Almost all our sorrows, he wrote, spring from our relations with others. Every bond is a future source of pain, for friends can betray, disappoint, or die, and each event proves how fragile our peace really is. His solution was aesthetic and ascetic isolation. Save compassion for all beings, but tie yourself to none. In his world, friendship doesn't kill you suddenly, it kills you slowly through attachment.
Friedrich Nietzsche, Your Friend as Your Finest Enemy, 1844 to 1900. Nietzsche saw friendship not as comfort, but as a forge, a place where the weak hide and the strong sharpen themselves. He warned that ordinary friendship kills the spirit by protecting it from conflict. Real companions, he said, must challenge each other to the edge of collapse, otherwise they become mirrors that reflect our flaws as virtues. In a friend, one should have one's best enemy, Nietzsche wrote. The moment we seek comfort instead of struggle, the bond turns poisonous. To him, attachment that prevents transformation is a form of death, the soft suicide of potential. He wanted friends bold enough to risk his love by telling the truth that hurt. Without that collision, he believed both souls atrophy together.
Max Stirner, The Friend as Ownership, 1806 to 1856. For the radical individualist Max Stirner, friendship was just another form of dominion. In his book, The Ego and Its Own, he argued that when we care for others selflessly, we become their property, and they become ours. Every should, every promise, chains the individual to another ego's expectations. He proposed egoistic association, temporary alliances formed without demand or duty, kept only while useful and pleasing. The moment affection requires sacrifice, it is turned predatory. Stirner's cold logic makes friendship sound like a business contract, and he meant it that way. In a world where morality and love both enslave, he preferred the solitude of total independence to the slow death of devotion.
Soren Kierkegaard, The Friend Who Replaces God, 1813 to 1855. Kierkegaard looked at friendship through his deeply religious lens and saw a dangerous rival to faith. Personal love, he argued, is always partial and conditional. It demands reciprocity and approval. Such attachment turns your eyes away from God toward creatures who can never fully satisfy you. After breaking off his own engagement, he called earthly love a beautiful temptation that leads to despair. Only love for God, which expects nothing, liberates the soul. All other affections bind it to fear and loss. For Kierkegaard, friendship kills not the body or the mind, but faith itself. A slow, spiritual erosion masked as comfort. Michel de Montaigne, The Friendship That Broke the Soul, 1533 to 1592. Montaigne is often celebrated as the first modern essayist, the man who wrote to find himself. But his deepest essays were born of loss. He believed he had found the perfect friend in Etienne de la Boétie, a bond so complete that he called it one soul inhabiting two bodies. When La Boétie died suddenly, Montaigne was crippled with grief. His writings are clear. The death of his friend nearly killed him too. In later essays, he confessed that such perfect union demanded the price of total vulnerability. Whoever gives their soul to another hands over their own stability. Montaigne saw that the sweetest love contains the seeds of destruction. Friendship is a mirror so clear that when it shatters, you see yourself bled through the cracks.
Emile Cioran, The Isolation of Lucidity, 1911 to 1995. Cioran called friendship a luxury for the blind. To him, intimacy was a sedative that numbs intelligence and locks you into illusion. He believed that clarity and companionship cannot coexist. To see life truthfully is to see how fragile and temporary others are, and that knowledge makes attachment impossible. In his aphorisms, he described conversation as a ritual of self-deception. Friends reassure each other that their existence matters. He preferred the terror of solitude to the comfort of being needed. For Cioran, the more you share, the less you remain yourself, until what's left is just a chorus of borrowed voices. Better loneliness, he thought, than the slow death of authentic thought.
Albert Camus didn't despise friendship. He understood its tragedy. In his world of absurdity, people reach for each other to make the universe bearable. But in that grasp lies the very mistake he warned against, the illusion of meaning. To love someone deeply is to attach hope to a mortal. The moment they die or betray you, the absurd returns stronger. His characters learn that companionship doesn't cure existential loss, it intensifies it. Camus called friendship the most beautiful way to be hurt. It is our refined method for remembering that nothing lasts, and that even kindness can remind us how alone we truly are.
Simone Weil, Detachment as Spiritual Suicide, 1909 to 1943. Simone Weil sought purity in everything, politics, faith, and love, and saw attachment as the root of every sin. To attach your heart, even to a beloved friend, was to cling to illusion. True love, she argued, is impersonal, directed towards God or the good in others, not towards the possessor of that good. Friendship, she wrote, feeds the ego's hunger for recognition and ownership. When we love the creature more than the creator, she warned, we lose both. During the war, her radical compassion and self-denial led her to starve herself in solidarity with the occupied French, a literal death by detachment. To Weil, friendship kills because it teaches the soul to hold on instead of letting go to God. Jean-Paul Sartre, Hell is Other People, 1925 to 1980. Sartre saw human relationships as battles over freedom. We want others to affirm us, but every look from a friend or lover turns us into an object in their eyes. In Being in Nothingness, he called this the gaze, the moment you realize someone else's judgment defines you. That's why, for Sartre, friendship is a polite struggle to control each other's freedom. To love someone truly would require willing their freedom absolutely, but then the bond dissolves. So every affection contains a quiet conflict, each person wanting the other while trying not to be possessed. His famous line, "Hell is other people," wasn't hatred, it was diagnosis. Even in friendship, we kill each other a little each day by the way we see.
Friedrich Herr had some really interesting ideas on brotherhood that betrays. He was this Austrian Catholic historian who studied how institutions can turn love into obedience. He watched the church, founded on spiritual brotherhood, become a system that punished those who thought freely. In his essays on faith and power, he argued that collective friendship can devour conscience. The closer the bond, the easier the betrayal. He wrote that a community that claims to love you is the one most ready to crucify you for not fitting in. Herr's life, exiled for his criticism of clerical authority, mirrored his message. When affection becomes loyalty to a group, the individual dies in its embrace. In his view, friendship's warmth is what makes its betrayal so cold.